My album comes out March 29th. When we all fall asleep, where do we go? I go to hell. When I die, so does he.
Everybody's journey is different. The second night, I went to hell for eternity. Just knowing eternity is like torture in itself.
Elon then responded with, "Thank you for the blessing, but I'm okay with going to hell if that is indeed my destination, since the vast majority of all humans ever born will be there."
This lady going to hell. I just want to let y'all know right now.
We treat it so superficially. No weight, nothing solemn. Sir, there is a terrible malady upon you and a judgment.
In our culture today, people joke about hell all the time, but they don't take it seriously because they think it's so abhorrent and so ridiculous that it simply can't be real. But they're making an enormous mistake. Billie Eilish is no stranger to treating hell as a joke. In her song, "All the Good Girls Go to Hell," Eilish is singing about global warming, and her message is basically that if we don't treat global warming with the seriousness it deserves, even good girls will go to hell because global warming will destroy the earth. But of course, equating hell with global warming is absolutely ridiculous.
Man is not the enemy of nature, he's the steward of nature, and God gave him this planet to use up. The earth is not a fragile ecosystem, billions of years old and held together by random chance. It is a strong, robust system held together by God, who upholds all things by his power. It was never intended to be left pristine, it was intended to be used.
For people like Eilish, the threat of global warming is the new apocalypse and hell, rather than the depth of human sin and rebellion against God. They see humans as being a stain in nature, rather than as people called to have dominion over nature.
Do not fall for this. Young people, I know you're hearing it everywhere you go. Do not fall for this. Nature belongs to us, not the other way around.
And when Eilish appeared on an episode of the popular YouTube series Hot Ones, she said this.
My album comes out March 29th. When we all fall asleep, where do we go? I go to hell. When I die, so does he.
Eilish jokes about going to hell and about the host going to hell. Of course, the implicit assumption is that hell is a joke, and neither of them will end up going to hell. And because Eilish doesn't think hell is something to be taken seriously, she feels free to make jokes about going there. But the somber truth is that hell is such a serious reality that nobody should be joking about it.
People, when they wake up in hell, will be devastated. And they won't find enough water in their eyes to satisfy their need to weep. They'll be sobbing. Oh no, not here. Oh God, please have mercy upon me. Be the greatest disappointment they could possibly experience to wake up in hell.
When Megan Fox appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, she talked about going to Costa Rica to experience using a psychedelic drug.
So we went to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca like in a proper setting, like with indigenous people.
Part of Fox's hallucinogenic experience involved, well, just listen to this.
Everybody's journey is different. The second night, I went to hell for eternity. And just knowing eternity is like torture in itself because there was no beginning, middle, or end. So you have like a real ego death.
So Fox went to hell for eternity. And since this sounds absolutely ridiculous, the host naturally asked some questions.
How do you arrive and understand that that's what the moment is? Is there a sign, next exit hell?
Now listen to Fox's response.
I mean, it's your own psychological hell, basically, is the point of the medicine, right? This is a medicine that it surpasses like anything you could do with talk therapy or like hypnotherapy or any of those things. It just goes straight into your soul and it takes you to the psychological prison that you hold yourself in. So it's your own version of hell, and I was definitely there.
So I guess that clarifies things a bit. Fox isn't actually saying she experienced eternity in hell. She's just saying she experienced her own version of psychological hell. But even so, it seems clear that Fox has absolutely no idea of just how serious the reality of hell is. Because if she really experienced hell, the response should be a fear that leads to repentance and submission to Christ.
How can one man suffering a few short hours on a tree under the wrath of God save a multitude of men or make a payment for a multitude of men and save them from an eternity in hell? How can that be? I said, oh, young man, it is for this reason, because the one who died on that tree was worth more than the rest of them put together.
So did Megan Fox truly experience hell in Costa Rica? Of course not. Because the reality of hell is infinitely worse than any psychological hell Fox could have experienced.
They will be tormented. We see fire and sulfur. This takes place in the presence of the Lamb. It takes place forever and ever. It takes place without rest.
She would be a completely changed person, and we certainly do not see this kind of transformation in her life.
You would say, Brother Paul, it's absolutely absurd. It is impossible, Brother Paul, to have an encounter with something as large as a logging truck and not be changed. And then my question would be to you, what is larger, a logging truck or God? How is it that so many people today profess to have had an encounter with Jesus Christ, and yet they are not permanently changed?
On May 8th, 2022, Elon Musk tweeted, "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing ya." This was in response to an official in Russia threatening Musk for aiding Ukraine with Starlink internet service. In response, Mohammed tweeted, "You won't die before your day, Elon. Anyhow, you are/were a unique figure in this world. I'm only wondering one thing. As a genius, haven't you figured out that there is a great creator of this world yet? If you did, make sure you confess this before your last heartbeat. Bless you." And surprisingly, Musk actually replied, tweeting, "Thank you for the blessing, but I'm okay with going to hell, if that is indeed my destination, since the vast majority of all humans ever born will be there." Of course, the implicit subtext Musk is communicating here is that hell probably doesn't exist, since if it did, then most humans ever born would be there, which would be ridiculously evil and unfair. And since Musk thinks hell probably doesn't exist because of this, he says he's okay with going to hell. Now, Musk is probably right that the vast majority of humans will end up in hell, but that certainly doesn't mean that hell doesn't exist or isn't fair.
Others being left to act in their sin, that phrase is important. Well, God just chose some people to go to hell. Being left to act in their sin, to their just condemnation, to the praise of his glorious justice. Every human being who has lived or will live deserves to die and go to hell. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
And of course, Oprah has demonstrated that she doesn't take hell seriously either.
I take full responsibility for my going to hell or heaven.
Oprah takes responsibility for her going to hell. I don't think Oprah would be so willing to go to hell for her LGBTQ position if she understood the truth about hell.
You ever wonder what people are doing who are in hell? Jesus doesn't describe every activity that takes place there, but he does describe two responses of humans who have been consigned there, where he says, "In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth."
Steve Harvey pretty regularly jokes about people going to hell.
This lady going to hell. I just want to let y'all know right now, my mother-in-law gonna be in hell. This ass Steve is going. This one's going straight to hell right here. So she's still standing.
But the way Harvey says this comes across as if he's not being serious. And indeed, Harvey clearly doesn't believe that Jesus is the only way to heaven.
There's no one way to heaven, no one way to paradise. It's like television. Now it's over 800 channels of cable, and they're all pretty entertaining. So I'm pretty sure, man, that to get to heaven, there's got to be more than one route. Because somebody watching another channel or taking another channel than you, they still getting entertained, and they probably still getting to heaven.
Hell is serious. And as Christians, we should treat it as nothing but serious.
Evangelicalism is filled with these false prophets and preachers who say peace, peace when there is no peace, and to be responsible for damning countless souls to hell.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a deacon, a husband, a father, a software engineer, and an amateur maker of videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help me in my mission to spread biblical truth, just subscribe and watch these videos until the end, which will help the YouTube algorithm recommend these videos to more people. I'm committed to using the skills and gifts God has given me to glorify Him and communicate biblical truth, and I would be so grateful if you would come be a part of what I'm building. You can visit my website at joyfulexile.com to learn more about me and what I'm working on. I hope you're having a blessed day. I will see you in the next video, and remember, this world is not our home.